Hello everybody, this is Matthew Hackney. I'm going to be taking you through some copywriting today. A lot of stuff: UX research, copywriting, UI, interface design, creative direction, whatever you want to call it. We're putting a website together, putting a company together, and we're going to make it look nice. So we're going to repeat this a few times as we bring in different people. I'm on Facebook setting up this area. Welcome everybody. I'm going to be walking you through how to do some high-end creative direction. We use Office 365 with my company. I am the president of a nonprofit and have been a creative director for about 15 years, probably longer, don't want to think about it, but I'm a master at this. I've worked with San Francisco, New York, LA, London, put together a lot of big brands, and right now we're building up our own nonprofit where we teach stuff like this. So I've done it a long time, and I'm at a phase in my career where I'm teaching it now. So what you see in the back end, excuse me, what you see in the back end here is what we call the fruit hive. So this is a new area of how I'll be teaching people, and this is SharePoint, if you're not familiar with SharePoint. And it has a lot of my other videos. It has a few tutorials on just exactly what the DAO fruit area is. So today we're going to be using Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. And we use Office 365 to work with people all over the world. Okay, so I'm going to go to the chat and go to Sandlot, and I'm going to get a shared key in here. So if you guys never have used Microsoft Teams before, Microsoft Teams is a great tool to connect with everybody, and as you see here, we shared a live share code. So if you're in our nonprofit, which it's free for everybody, then you can get access to all of this information. So here is the share code. I'm going to click on this to join, and that's going to give me access to the back end of the website. So it's joining the session, and it's launching my Visual Studio Code, and now it's going to load up all the files. Now people do copywriting in many different ways, and I personally don't like copywriters to use Microsoft Word or OneNote or just Notepad, Google Documents. I like them to actually get into the actual software of where that copy is going to reside long term. And there's a lot of industry standard software that you can use. So as you see, it looks like it didn't work. So I'm going to have to hit this restart extension host. So let's try that. It's still a little glitchy. Software's only been out maybe a year, using all the bells and whistles I have with it. So I like copywriters to learn really high-end software like this. It doesn't take that long to learn, and I'm here to walk you through just how easy it is. You really want to practice your English on your own, and you want to practice copywriting through watch movies, read magazines, read books, just become a master at literacy. And then you want to work with a professional like me or a copywriting agency publishing agency, marketing agency, advertising agency, whatever it is, their professional ability is going to be on handling invoices, contracts, and teaching you very high-end software like this. And that's what's going to set you apart from people that just send copy back to a client in a Word document or send copy back in an email. You never want to do that with a client. Okay, so here we have on this site, and this is called Lorem Ipsum if you're not familiar. So this video today, we're going to be going over, I'd say it's like level 2 out of 10. It's pretty basic. At the same time, if you've already been in the industry 10 years and you're not full-time career making over 100 grand a year doing this, then you're still at level 2 out of 10. So this video is for you. Doesn't matter what country you live in, doesn't matter what your native language is. English right now is the business language of the entire world. And Chinese has more people that speak it, but English, it's no longer limited just to Europe, just to America, Australia. It is the business language of the world. So you need to watch movies, read books, listen to songs, look at advertisements, do all of that in English, and mainly look at New York City, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. I don't care where in the world you are. If you live in Scotland, you need to look at San Francisco branding. The top companies in the world for branding are in those locations, and you need to study that. So we're going to be going over how to get rid of this Lorem Ipsum and doing it within a beautiful browser. So why did this website pop up? This is on a local host. All I did, I know I was talking, maybe that was distracting you, but I went in here to MS Teams and I clicked on this link. That's it. After I clicked on that link, it took me into my VS Code software, which is over here. Let's maximize that. And it has this page called literacy.html. Now, not only does it open up this ugly backend stuff, but it also automatically opened up my browser right here. And it took me to the pedagogy page. I don't know why it took me to that one, but let's go back in VS Code. I'm going to close out this VS Code. We only need this guy. And so I have the literacy page open. Let's open up the pedagogy page. And let's go back to our browser and also open up, so we're on pedagogy page. And VS Code has the pedagogy. So very simply, we want to scroll down here until we find the right line of code to change. Now, as a copywriter, the only thing you want to change is stuff in white. If it's not white, don't touch it. This orange here, don't touch. Blue, don't touch. Dark blue, don't touch. And it's actually harder than it sounds not to touch that stuff, because that little caret there, if you delete him, you're going to mess up the whole program. And that's why businesses don't want you messing with the actual back-end code as a copywriter. They're going to say, just email it to me and I'll insert it. But you're going to lose 50%, 75% of the whole client just because you don't know how to use this very simple software. So this is VS Code by Microsoft. It's 100% free. I use the Insider's Edition. That's why mine's green. The other version's purple. And then as a copywriter, now I build these whole sites, I build entire brands, but I'm going over today just for the copywriters. So we already got some photos in here that we like, we got the structure that we like, but we just don't like the words. So we're really going to focus on those words right now, clean those up. And we have to understand who this client is to make that happen. And we can also shortlist a few pages that we're going to work on. So let me just walk you through that process. We'd go back to the main page and we'd read a little bit about this, see who they are, see what they do. And I'm the president of this nonprofit, so I'll just tell you guys what we're doing. It essentially teaches people, this little diagram shows, it has from little babies teenagers, businessmen, mindfulness, and athletics. And it teaches all these areas. And the whole idea is that you start with us when you're a little kid and you stay within the same education company, same education program, kind of like a library. You might get your library card when you're 5 years old and keep going back to that library nonstop until you're 80. So we're like a digital library and also a digital learning environment. So people at any age can come on, they can learn, and this website's supposed to reflect that and tell that back to the audience. We have another website that this is replacing, and this website, it just covers a lot of the different areas a lot better. So here, people can donate to one of our projects for Vinci Draw. We have a Costa Rica project, and then we have a Mid-Ohio Valley project, a few of our partners down here. So this main page is looking good, and I think I've explained what this company does. So the reason I'm doing this, copywriting is as much research and immersion into a company as it is, actually working on a project. So we want to spend a good amount of time researching on here before we even step in and start writing. And if you're only making, if you're getting paid per word that you write and they're giving you, I don't know, 25 cents per 10 words, then my method's not going to work for you. My method is designed for people that are making $20 an hour to $500 an hour. The same method should be for those people. So you want to do very high-end UX research. You want to do analysis of the company, see the mood, and then I don't like the word copywriter very much. I like storyteller, narrator, bard. Your job with these words is to make it as artistic as possible and change the title so they all make sense on a grand scale, and then change the actual words inside so they reflect the mood of the brand as if you are the owner of that company. So every single page in here needs changed, and we're going to go through the top and go down and then reflect that over into VS Code. So 90% of what I do is just looking at this and thinking. The thinking part is the hardest part of this job. You just sit there and ask yourself, what needs to be put here? Should that say global literacy? Should that say STEAM? Should it say this? And you're going to be asking yourself over and over, should it say it? Should it not? And then you might even look up your competitors to see, well, what did they say? Or what's trending right now? And don't have an ego. Don't try to get your clients to keep hiring you over and over. Write something so that it can last on that website for 10 years, for 20 years. Look at Nike with the Just Do It campaign. That was made back in the 80s or 70s. And here we are about 2020, and it's still relevant today. Just do it. So you want to come up with copy that can last a very long length of time. So don't write stuff so trendy that they're going to need to hire you again a year from now. Okay, so let's start just for, I know we were on one of these other pages, but let's stay on this We Teach the Future page. Let's see up here, it's on About Future. Now, if you are working with our actual company and you are in the, in Ignite Curiosity, if you guys want to get involved and actually join me on this, you're going to want to join our Ignite Curiosity program. So let me take you to that. That's ignitecuriosity.org. It's this website here. And if you click on Get Curious, that'll teach you how to do it. Or if you go to Register, or you click Get Involved, join the community, there's all kinds of ways to join me and join other professionals in our network. So if you go to Learn and you learn the fundamentals, those fundamentals are going to teach you just the basics of what Microsoft Teams is. It's going to teach you the basics of just how to use OneNote and then the proper etiquette to chat with our team. So you'll come in here, you'll open up this workbook, and inside of that workbook, I'll go and click there, see what that looks like. You can actually see a lot of objectives in here to learn how to use Office 365. And after you learn this stuff, you want to go back to that fundamentals page and take the curiosity quiz. Once you take that quiz, click on that. I'm logged in. It might not allow me to see it. You know what? It might actually show you guys the real answers. So I'll just close it out. But anyway, you go and take that quiz, and at the end of the quiz, it gives you an access code. And using the access code, yeah, you see how complex we make it. You put in your invitation code, access code, right here as you fill out this form and you register, and it'll email you login details so that you can get on our network and work with professionals like myself, and 100% free. It's a nonprofit. You're welcome to join anytime. And well, looks like it's still going along. All right, we'll go back. All right, yeah, she's still working. All right, so I'll close that out. All right, so here we are. So I don't know how many minutes I am into this video, and I haven't done anything yet. I've just talked to you guys about some philosophy. And as a copywriter, like I said, you want to be able to charge a lot of money for your copywriting. Honestly, the best thing you can do is go out and watch movies. Watch a million movies and listen to the words that they use. Look at the clothing they wear. Look at everything in there. Just digest all of that. Read a million books. If you don't like words, if you don't like media, then this job just is not for you. It's made for people that love the art of linguistics. And once you've ingested that everywhere, if it's a job for you to go out and read 5,000 books, if it's a job for you to 2 hours a day, read the latest news, read up on social media, if that's a job for you and that's a pain for you, then this career is not for you. I myself, man, I've literally seen probably every movie that exists in America anyway. And I also, I know about 20 different languages. Now, I might be extreme. Okay, I definitely am extreme. And when I was a kid, I read a lot of books. I had an hour-long bus ride to school every day. So, hour there, hour back, I was reading. I would read on recess, read at lunch. I was in reading classes, and I would write a lot. So this career is definitely great for me. I'm a writer. I'm a published author, and I've ran newspapers before. I was senior editor. I don't know what it was called. I was the editor of the newspaper in high school. So I just love words. So if that's you, then great. Then this career is for you. And you have to realize what separates you from the other people is your passion for words. So take pride in that and realize companies are hiring you for what you're already passionate about. You should not take this just because you heard it was going to be easy money or you could quickly get a job with it. You really want to immerse into this field if you have a love for linguistics. So with that in mind, we're going to be changing just a few of these things here, and I'm going to move rather quickly once I actually start working on it, because I've done this for 20 years. It doesn't take my brain any time to come up with stuff here. It's more of a matter of just, now I already spent quite a bit of time getting this website where I want it. And if you understand MVPs and UI and UX, you'll see this is a beautiful website. and it has repeating photos that need changed, but you want to set the tone with the words to convince everybody else on the team of where you're going. Now, I already went in some previous lessons and I changed the size of the words, I changed the size of the text. I chose, this one's all capital. And those were conscious decisions that I made as the copywriter. Now, the copywriter is not just about, you don't just write. You also decide the spacing, the kerning, serifs and sans serifs. There is so much into this. And look at how light this is compared to how dark this is. But this one is bigger than this one. All of that makes a difference. And then the spacing that's there. Now, you could have a web team that helps you with that. But the more you know how to do that yourself, the more of an expert you become in the field. So since I already like everything that's here, there's nothing that I want to change except what the words actually say. And on a later lesson, we'll update those photos. So for one page, for a page like this, everybody asks, how much do you charge? And this one page, if we do it well, it can make this company $1 million. And companies don't need that much verbiage in their company to be successful. The average human only has, 10,000 words in their whole vocabulary. And a linguistic artist has 100,000 or 500,000. So I'm butchering those actual numbers, but if you look it up, you'll see the normal average person, they only have 10,000 words. So when you give a company words like global literacy, that's not in the normal vocabulary of everyday people. STEAM education, that's not in their normal everyday. This P to 20 plus initiative, I came up with that never existed before I wrote that. And the whole idea is to come up with verbiage that has an oomph to it that then sets a tone for the whole company. And it's really fun because after you use words and you see the power of words, you see that it shapes the whole company just for words. Going back to words, look at this logo up here. I came up with this. We have a division in China, in Asia, and the word Dao is Chinese anyway. And when we were coming up with the logo, I mainly do type font logos. So the hexagons over here, yeah, those are kind of important. But really what pulls this together that makes it feel international, it's the font. It's the word Dao Learning it has no serif on it. It's very clean cut and modern. But then when we add in the Chinese text to it, it just really makes it feel international and it makes it feel like a bigger company. Now, this company, it's not really launched yet. As you could tell, the website's just not together at all. And we've been working quite a while on the website. And to give you an idea, put together, you can look at my media agency, dowmedia.org, and I would suggest to download our catalog here or look down at some of the companies below. I work a lot with the U.S. government and some of those partners there, and this shows some of the projects that we've done. But my point is that when you come up with just a few key words like this, it really sets the tone for the whole company. And now that we've done that, now that we've gone to the main page and we've learned a little bit over there about who this company is, now we're going to want to dive in and go ahead and choose these sections here. Now you're going to want to ask your boss too, say, do you want me to change everything? Are there some pieces you want to keep? And then, man, you just want to listen to that boss so well. Because if they like global literacy, they like STEAM, and they like this, but they hate all the other stuff, then you have to listen to that. The worst thing you could do is go in and say, well, I changed these headers because I didn't like them. When a company's not yet put together and they hire a copywriter, hearing that you don't like something, it's like a knife to the heart of the CEO or the entrepreneur. Because you have to see this is their baby and they don't want you If it's an ugly baby, then still be nice to the ugly baby. And you need to be a reason that ugly baby becomes an adult. That's really it. It's not about judging the ugly baby. It's making them adult, making them successful. So yes, if I was your boss and this was the site you were working on, I do like those headers. I would want you to keep them. But I don't like what's underneath of it. So I've given you enough philosophy for the day. Let's go ahead and see how this back end of VS Code works and how fun it is to work in a more technical environment like this to where you can see your results immediately. Okay, so I'm going into VS Code and I'm going to look for 2 layout choices. So I'm going to copy that. Go in here and I'm going to press Control F. That's kind of your go-to for any kind of search tool. And of course it doesn't find it. Well, I'm on pedagogy, that's why. So what page were we on? Future. Yeah, so let's look for it over here. So 2 layout choices, press enter. Looks like it found one. And boom, here it is. Global literacy, 2 layout choices. Okay, so that just tells me where this is in the program. Now, just to make sure you're in the right area, if you're kind of scared, it's your first day doing this, you can just change that letter 2, or the number 2 to the number 3. So let's just change it from 2 to 3. Now I'm going to press Control S to save it. Control S. I'm on a Windows. It'd be Mac S for Mac users. Okay, so now it's 3. See there's an X up there? That means it's saved. Let's make it a 4. When I make it 4 and I don't save, see how it's a circle? Circle means it's not saved. As soon as I press Control S, you'll see it turn into an X. Control S. Now look, it's an X. That means it's saved. So go back onto Chrome and boom, there you see it, 4. Now I know I'm moving slow. I know I'm moving crazy slow. But I want you to realize the slower you move, this is surgery. This website's already beautiful. You do not want to mess that up. If you went in here and you typed, if you typed too much, for example, look at how simple just typing 1 extra sentence too long is going to break that whole page. So I'm going to save that and go back. Now this is really long. It adds all this white space down here. It's just all messed up. And who knows what it's doing for a mobile computer or a tablet or an iPhone. So if I make this smaller and scrunch my browser in, you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like on a smaller screen. And it just really messes it up. So you have to learn how to respect the word count. So I'm going to come back here, and your favorite tool to use should be Control Z or Max Z. Okay, and that's your undo tool. So you want to undo that. Okay, so now I'm going to highlight this whole area here. And the reason I highlight it is because down here in the corner, it says I have 103 characters selected. And you need to learn how to do copy based on characters, not based on the narration that you want to come up with. And that's very difficult to do when you first start out with. So you have to come up with something inside of here to narrate, and that pulls that mood, but still stay around that 103 marker. So if you see this one below here, this guy is 99, and this guy, I missed the period, 118, add the period, 119. So 99 to 119, you got about 100 to 120 characters to choose from in all of these. Now you don't have to do that strict of a count. You could just eyeball it, and I could go in here, type some more, and then I'd have to stop because I'm eyeballing it. I'm making sure my period's right on top of where that one is. And then I know that those two areas are going to be about the same size. So moving along, we have global literacy, and then we want to talk about what global literacy is. Now, we don't want just random copy in here. This, I think of copy as real estate space. Oh, so it's still messed up. Okay, so let's come back here, save it, go back and look. It'll update it. Okay, so now it's back to what it was before. Now, I think of copy as real estate space, just like I think of a photo as real estate space. You want every single thing you do to lead to an action. You don't want people to read and just think, oh, that was cute. You don't want people to read and think, oh, I never heard that info before. That's not the purpose of having words. That's not the purpose of copy. The purpose of copy is to create an action. We want people to do something. We don't have websites for people to read. No business wants people to just go on their website and read something and say, oh, that's cool, I learned something today. No, you got to make money. You got to get a donation. You have to sell a product. If your copy doesn't drive traffic to do something and be actionable, then you're not going to get paid very much for your copy. So it's not good enough just to come here and change this so it says something about global literacy. Not good enough. We have to somehow create an action. So before we do that, we already went to the main page and we learned about who this company is, what they do. I also said it's a P to 20 initiative. That P to 20, that means preschool all the way to 20 years in school. That's what P to 20 means. And we need to explain that somewhere. It's not really on the website yet. But you could see some of the call to actions. We have the menu bar up here. These are all call to actions. Become a partner is a call to action. There's probably a donate button somewhere on this page. Donate now. So there's plenty of places that we can pull call to actions from. And what I would do with your boss, whoever hired you, I would ask, what are your call to actions? I cannot write your copy until I know the result that you want. And they should be able to break it down. In this complex of a website, you're not going to find a more complex site than this. I mean, look at how many pages are on here. It is pretty intense. And it is a big company, so it's all over the world and it does a lot. But it all comes down to you want to have 3 call to actions, and that is it. So for this company, let's discuss the 3 actions that we want. We want donations. It should be number 1 for almost every nonprofit. There's a donate button. And we might discuss donating in other places, but that's definitely a big call to action that we want. Become a partner. We decided that was going to be a big call to action. So there's 2. And then I would say the third one, let's see, this is the main nonprofit. So one of them is donating. Another is becoming a partner. I'd say the third one is getting involved to, do one of these activities over here. I don't want to, or maybe volunteering, donating, becoming a partner, and volunteering. Volunteering and getting involved they're the same thing. So how about those 3? How about becoming a partner, get involved in some way, and volunteering? So I'm just going to memorize that in my head. It's not that hard. I have to work on this company for quite a while. So as I'm writing this copy in here, I need to be kind of pushing the consumer, pushing the audience towards one of those 3 directions. And yes, I'm going to be talking about global literacy, but somehow as I type, I should be telling them, partner with us for global literacy. Many different ways you can do that and different words you can use to persuade them to become a partner. Now, in this company too, we have a lot of subsidiary companies. There's a lot of little teeny tiny companies that branch off of this. So this company in particular, let's go back to, we could see this company as an example. This is very simple. The call to action here is just hire them to do branding. So you can download the catalog. That's a call to action. You can look at the portfolio. And then at the bottom, it shows how to get in touch. And the whole point is just to hire them. So if we go back to that Ignite Curiosity website and see their call to actions, this one's a lot more cut and dry. It is register, donate, get involved. The learn and get involved are kind of the same. I guess the shop, but not too much intention is put on there. So those call to actions are a lot more cut and dry when you want people to register, when you want people to get involved, and you want people to donate. On the Dow Learning, it's going to be a more passive call to action. When you get a very elegant company, you're not going to have an in-your-face call to action. I mean, think of McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't really want to describe their service very much and say, I mean, does anybody in the world know where hamburgers from McDonald's come from? Probably not. They don't have photos of the cows on their website saying, you know, this is Bessie, she's 20 years old, and she's been on the farm for this many years. You don't know that. If you look at their website, it just says, buy a freaking burger, buy a Big Mac. McDonald's.com. So their copy that they write on there is going to be really bold, in your face, and just boom, come here and eat. That is it. I never have seen their website, believe it or not. Never worked with them, never had done market research with them. So use Uber Eats to order. So that's a big call to action, and probably a lot of what they're doing, like they're saying use Uber Eats, but then over here, delivery fee. The word delivery and Uber, they coincide with each other. Then they use both of those words up here. They came up with a whole brand new registered trademark. Some copywriter came up with this crap with them. McDelivery. And then look, they have all brand new branding around the Uber Eats campaign. They have McDelivery now. I didn't know that. I never look at this company. So a copywriter came up with that. And it's beautiful branding. It's so simple. You don't have to think about anything else. You just know McDelivery. It makes sense. And you'll see other companies that are made for low IQ purchases, like Mountain Dew. You know, do the do. Mountain Dew. So the copy that you're going to see there is going to be very in your face. Just people doing sports, sweating, having fun. Do the do. And it makes no sense. They're trying to tap into you when you're not using your consciousness. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is just how copy works with this particular company. Okay, so let's close that out. Ignite Curiosity is definitely a little bit more formal than that Mountain Dew or McDonald's, but it's still pretty informal. It's just get curious, donate, register. It's still pretty simple. However, the Dow Learning, this is made for very big grants and very big programs. So we want to elaborate and immerse people into the story. And we don't really care if they click on stuff. We don't really care in this particular company to even get a call to action. Now, I know I told you your end goal, it is to get a call to action. Absolutely. But on a company like this, let's find another one that would probably be similar to this. The Gates Foundation. The Gates Foundation probably doesn't really care if you click on anything. They just don't care. They're already funded. They're more about giving than they are about receiving. They're worried about their privacy. They don't want to get sued, so they have this big button on here. And as you see, I don't see any call to action. And there will be call to actions in here, like a closer look. So look how subtle those call to actions are. So your copy on this kind of company, it needs to be subtle, it needs to be elegant. And you just want to share a story at this point. You don't necessarily want to create an action. So then down here, so they're trying to pull you in with emotions and just show you, look, we do a lot of amazing things. We're in healthcare, we're in developing nations, we help the poor, and we believe. After they do all of that and kind of paint a picture for what a better future is, then at the very bottom of everything, they finally, in very teeny tiny call to actions, give you a chance to collaborate with them on some level. So I would say Dow Learning, we're not on that level yet. I mean, we're not the Gates Foundation. But I would say we're way closer to here than we are McDonald's. So let's look at care.org. This is one I've actually done a lot of studying on because they're more at the level of where we are. I don't like how McDonald's oriented the whole site is. Like, look at this. Your gift matched 5 times. Donate now. It's like they hired whoever did the McDonald's site to do this. And join us, donate. The donate's a different color than the other stuff. Big join us button. Signed up, find gifts, donate now. I don't know about this find gifts for a large nonprofit. That's kind of weird. It feels very, what's the right word? Materialistic. I'm going to click on it. I'm curious to what that takes me to. So the copy here is, so they have a hashtag campaign. I think that's cool. Whoever we hire as a copywriter, they should definitely help out with a hashtag campaign for Dow Learning. So the Gates Foundation didn't have a hashtag campaign, but they do here. So let's go back. Now notice again, if you're charging for copywriting, and you can charge $50 an hour, then look how long I've already been talking to you guys, and I'm a copywriter. So you can charge for everything we're doing. You can charge for going to freaking McDonald's website. You can charge for going to Mountain Dew's website. If you don't go and look at those websites, if you don't go and look at other companies, you're not going to know how to put great copy together. You don't want to use ideas out of your own head. If you haven't read all those books, watched all those movies, seen all those companies, and seen what all these other great copywriters are doing out in the world, I'm sorry, you're just not going to come up with good stuff. One of the best TV shows, most of you might know this if you're in copywriting already, but the newbies don't. Go watch Mad Men. Watch every episode of Mad Men. It gets a little caught up in the drama of his personal life, but it does go over an advertising agency pretty well with how they're handling accounts. I wish they took you more through the emotional process and the creative process, but you can get a pretty good idea of how that's all put together. So they're saying your money at work. This is our philosophy. This is why we do that. And if you agree with us, then great. You can volunteer, you can donate, you can get involved. But I don't want to pressure them with big in your face buttons saying, like, this is what you should do. And, so many reasons to care. I just think that's undervaluing the service of this particular company. But this is a good comparison. So now we have the Gates Foundation, which is way more mature, and then we have care.org, which is a lot less mature, but still in the same category. And then we have, Mountain Dew and McDonald's, which are so far off the map, completely wrong category to do research in at all. But now my brain understands what we could do. I'm thinking something right in the middle between the Gates Foundation and care.org. So now that I have that, I have these other tabs up here. I guess I didn't discuss those with you. And if you don't know how to make these little tabs, you can go to any of your existing tabs and you can right click on it and you can choose pin the tab. So there, now all you get is a little icon of it, but it's saved up there. So if you close out your Chrome and come back, it's going to be up there. You can look at it more. So you don't want to keep everything that you're doing all in your own head. You definitely want to keep some notes. And what we have, this is the SharePoint site. If you go to SharePoint for our own company, I have tons of videos in here, and I'm always making more and uploading on all types of copywriting stuff. You can see copy. You can go next, copy, UX design. So I have a lot of great tutorials up there for you as I put sites together. But the real reason I came here is to show you the notebook. So let's go over to the notebook, and this is going to show you the back end of how I personally keep track of stuff. Now, I love OneNote. OneNote is just amazing. Nothing selected. Fruit Hive notebook. Well, you know, this isn't actually how we get to our notebook. I usually get to the notebook in Teams, and then I go to Teams. Oh, there, it was loading. I just wasn't waiting long enough. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I go into Teams, and then I go to Fruit Hive, and I go to DAO here, because this is the group of DAO companies. And then we have a notes section right there that's actually linking over to the exact same notes that you see over there. And once I open it up, I don't like clogging up my Microsoft Teams with all of these little tabs. So there's a button in here that says open it in the browser. Yeah, right there. See, open in browser. And it'll open up its own tab just for that. So I'm going to take this tab where we have OneNote open, and I'm going to take it back to SharePoint because I don't want to lose my SharePoint tab. And then I'm going to take my Notes tab, and while it's loading, we're going to pin it to our taskbar too. So let's pin it. Now it's over here. And we don't need that one. We actually need the DAO Lifestyle one. Check that guy out. No, not DAO Lifestyle, DAO Learning. There we go, DAO Learning, Content Summary. So before you really start on your copywriting, you have to realize when it's a blank canvas like this, now if you made it look like care.org, then that's awesome. You'll get kudos for that, and that's a very similar brand. I personally don't like it, but if I hired you for it and you gave me the end result that looked very materialistic and branded like that, but still nonprofit, I'd be very happy. And if you're charging $50 an hour, that's very fair for that. And if you made it look like the Gates Foundation, where it's not materialistic at all, it's very mature, I still would be extremely happy with that. And that's still maybe $50, $100 an hour, probably more 100 upper end of copy for that. But if you went right in the middle of those two and you came up with very unique words just for our company, you came up with a hashtag campaign, you came up with just a beautiful vision of how everything flows together, then the sky's the limit for what you can charge for that. I've seen copywriters walk away with $5 million based upon the copy that they put together. You can sign contracts with people that say, you know, you have an invested interest in the company, and the contract that you sign before you get involved on the project, that really sets the tone for what you're going to make. So that notes thing is taking forever. And our apps on your computer, if you're using Windows 10 like I am, then you just have an app built in called OneNote in your computer. And it's way better than this online interface because you never have to load. It's just automatic. So yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's open it in the app. And I never have done this, so it's going to ask me to log in. Well, maybe it's not. And this is part of Office 365, but it also is 100% free, this particular version. So while that's loading, let's go back over to our site and let's think about what can we put here that's kind of in the middle. Now I know I've built this up a lot, like it matters a lot. Honestly, I don't think it does. I don't think these 3 little paragraphs matter that much. I think what we really need to do is just conceptualize what we teaching the future even means and how this P220 initiative is important. I would also go out and do some research about, you know, what is the future of education and why is that relevant for this client and what is this client actually accomplishing. So I did pick these 3 photos myself. So it's a little girl learning how to write, and I want to say, like, you know, we push kids to be authors and write and explore the boundaries of their mind. Something like that right there. Should have just written that down. Sounded pretty good. And then this one here say, you know, we collaborate, we teach collaboration, and we get kids off of digital tools in person, work on their social skills, work with hive mentality. And when you click, you can learn more about that. And then say we also offer internships with the corporate world, with job shadowing, and we really believe children should be exposed to the enterprise industry at the earliest stage possible so they're not intimidated by it. I think that's what I want to put there. And then maybe these 4 areas I already chose. Yeah, they look good enough. The photos don't, but let's just go with the headers here and come up with copy down there that matches those headers. And then the person choosing the photo can read the bottom, read the top, and they can pick the right photo to put in the middle. And as you see here, this is just filler text. I think we just copied and pasted the exact same, yeah, like look, it's this sentence copied and pasted like 8 times all in this. But the reason we did that, I like how big that area is. It just looks appropriate to be that much space. So we're going to have to come up with the right amount of copy to fill that in. Now at the same time, realize this is a fake website. It's not on the internet. You can't find it out live. It's just on my local computer. Because you know, we don't want to serve this up to clients. So we'll keep it here on the back end until we're ready. Okay, so let's go to OneNote and the Fruit Hive notebook. Let's see where I was supposed to go. Okay, so we're in DAO Notes, DAO Learning, Content Summary. Okay, so if you use OneNote, the cool thing about OneNote is it keeps all your brain all organized, and it keeps it organized with your whole team as well. And as you see, when I use the actual app, it has this dark theme to it. It's easier on my eyes. I'm going to add a page in here, and in this page, let's call this copywriting tone. And you want your notes to be transparent to your boss so that when they come back to you like, why did you charge me 30 hours and only see that you wrote 4 pages? Like, that's pathetic. You want to say, well, go in and look at all my notes. My notes are there for you to take on to the next people you hire. My notes are there for you to understand the thought process that I went through. And then if you don't like something that I did, let's actually discuss my notes. Don't discuss the project itself. Like if your boss is complaining to you about what you put right here, all they're seeing is the end result. They're not seeing the hours and hours that you went and looked at, you know, care.org, that you looked at the Gates Foundation, and they're not realizing it's actually very scientific why you came up with what you did. It's not just coming up out of the top of your head. And that's what they're always going to think. It doesn't matter how big the client is. They always just think you just wing it. And they're like, well, I could have winged that too. But when your notes are your saving grace. When you save impeccable notes and you learn to put your brain on paper, then that sets a tone for yourself of how you're going to work. And then it gives you a paper trail that you can refer back to. And then when you do have discussions with your boss or other teammates, you can discuss it in the notes. And then the notes then give birth to beautiful copy. So that's the way I like to think of it. You have to have the notes first. Those are the parents, and then they give birth to the copy. So it's impossible to have a baby without the parents. So don't just go and randomly write here before you do your research. So did some research on care.org, McDonald's.com. can't multitask. I can either type or talk to you guys. Okay, so these should be directed towards, what were those three? Get involved. Actually, that's the last one. Let me go back, take it below. Donate or become a partner. Okay, so just this small paragraph alone, if you charge $500 just for that, if you charge $500 for this and that's all you did, they wouldn't be happy. But if it's $500 for this and it's followed up with great copy, then you can justify your beginning research taking a few hours and $250 an hour to come up with this. I know a lot of copywriters in developing nations are charging $2 an hour, $3 an hour, and you're actually only worth $3 an hour when you don't do this proper research that I've done, and then you don't understand these technical tools like VS Code over here. You have to take your time in your career and develop in these different directions so that you have the patience to actually go out there and do actual research, to comprehend the actual call to actions needed, and then to do proper analysis of the competitors along with the potential partners so that you can position this company right where it needs to go. Now, maybe the owner of the company already knew all of this. Maybe the owner of the company or the board members or whatever, they're like, yeah, duh, we already knew that. But you as a copywriter, you need to do this yourself. You need to repeat the research so that it's really ingrained in your own head and in your heart, so that when you go out and write that copy, you're speaking the tone as if you did start the company. Because that's what the copywriter's doing. You're starting this. I don't care if you're just a contractor coming in for a month to write copy. This is your baby. And you have to, when you're done with that copy and you leave and you go on to another client, that company needs to look like they never hired anybody. It needs to look like the CEO himself sat down and wrote that in his most passionate moment. And that's when you're going to get paid well for your copy. That's when it's going to pull the right audience in. And you need to care that much about your career that you can give that. So here's just a short note that I put here. And so now let's go out and write some of those things that I was coming up with while I was pointing at the photos. I still don't know what to put over here, and that's fine. You don't have to start at the upper left corner and work your way down. Think of this like it's an artistic canvas, and wherever your brain gets pulled to first that you feel inspired by, just go for it. So I was inspired by these 3 paragraphs here. I already knew what I wanted to write on those. So let's go in the back and let's look for this wording. Okay, so let's go into VS Code, Control F. Okay, so let's make sure it's the little girl. Okay, so I saved it, come back. Yep, look at that. So I got the right area, and I already did this with you guys, so I'm going to do a little bit faster. Now, I can't see all the way to the end of my browser, so I'm going to go to View and choose Word Wrap. Toggle Word Wrap. As a programmer, you don't want to do that. but as a copywriter, yeah, you just want to treat it like it's a paragraph you're reading. Okay, so I highlight all of this, 216. Okay, so I am crazy visual. This is how my brain works. I have to go and look at this and remember what I want to say, and then it gets in my head, and then I take it back over to here, because I already forget what it was. Okay, so yeah, we inspire kids to write at the earliest age possible and encourage them to become authors, be creative, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's enough for me. So we have many programs to encourage Okay, so I'm a little short on my words. We have many programs. Well, I'll just save that. It's not enough though, I need to fill in more. It's going to be too short. See how I made my learn more go up too much? To find their inner voice. Okay, maybe that's enough. Yeah, so now it's lined up right. Okay, moving on. I actually don't really like what I said about this middle one. I like it. And that came out well. So again, this is what we call MVP1. When you take it from ugly, just gibberish, turn it into English, I actually almost never keep this English. It's just my first draft. Well, when I say I never keep it, I mean, we'll keep it up on the website for 6 months. I guess we do keep it. But 6 months isn't, forever. And people read it, and man, people are the worst critics. They always tell me, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this. And the cool thing is, though, if people are complaining about what you wrote, it means that you did good enough that they think it should be better. Let's go back about McDonald's. Then it means you think they have the possibility of doing better. If it's just a horrible hamburger there's no way possible it could ever taste good, then you're not going to complain about it. You're just going to think, oh, I made a bad decision. I went to that crappy burger joint. I should never go there again. You're not going to waste energy complaining. But if it's almost good, if it's almost great, that's when we complain. So I actually like when people complain, because it means, nobody's going to complain about this gibberish. They're like, oh, that company doesn't even exist yet. They have some fake words up on their website. But if they complain about this, that means we made it somewhere. That means we're doing pretty good. Oh, he didn't even fix me on my bad spelling there. That's one thing I don't like about this backend stuff. I don't use spell checkers on any of my writing software. I don't know if that's a good thing, keeps me sharp, or if it's a bad idea. Okay, so I changed that. collaboration, this. Okay, and then we talked about enterprise. I definitely like what I said there. So one thing I'm writing, my brain was wanting to use words that I've used up here before. I forget what they even were, like encourage children, teamwork, collaboration. When you write, your brain's going to want to your brain's lazy. It's going to want to use the easiest way out. So I could write like Dow Learning embraces collaboration with enterprises by encouraging children to, blah, blah, blah. But the problem with that is I've already used those words. Those words are too close on the page to this section. So you got to put your brain into a little bit higher gear and come up with something a little bit more unique. So that's not enough. As you see, these go out all the way to here. I need to come out to there on this one. So Dow Learning is partnered with multiple enterprises to give students the opportunity to job shadow and intern in international businesses across multiple sectors. We continue to build partnerships for this purpose. That's good enough for now. Okay, so I like it. We advance education. So now I'm reading up right here. I actually like what this says. We advance education in P20 initiative. We are at this with multiple literacy programs around the world and online. I guess it doesn't really say we teach the future. You know what I think I want over here? I think I want statistics. So I'm going to look for future. So we're almost done with this whole video. I just want to give you guys a sample of how I do copy. We did a lot of it out of my own head right there. And we did some research before we put it in that kind of inspired us to write that. Now over here, I'm going to do a little bit of data analysis. I think it's good to have 3 different things on a page. Well, maybe even 4 different things. A quote, always have a quote. Always have factual statistics, like numbers. Always have emotions, narration, story, and then have statements. Like this is just a statement. So when you break a page up like that, it taps into different types of audiences. A lot of your technical male audience, they're going to like numbers and facts only. You also should have visual graphs and charts or photos. Essentially, you just want to tap into everybody's mind so that there's a piece on there for everyone. Okay, so I said I was going to look up some facts. I want to know jobs, future job statistics. So you want to see your job as a copywriter. It's not really to even come up with stuff. It's just you're the steward of the words back to the audience. You don't have to create the words. You don't have to manifest them. They just have to flow through you. And you more compose why you filter all the words. You're filtering and making high-end filtration system of literacy. So I want to go to images. This is a trick I use to come up with stats. For someone that loves reading so much, you'd think I'd read, but oh, come on, why is it so small? So what do we have on this page? Global literacy. Tim Cook, current CEO of Apple, he said something pretty cool. He said he wants the second language in the United States to be computer programming. You know, there's fights about should we make it Spanish? Should we have English be the world language? And I agree with him that I think in the future, if you don't know how to program and code, then you're going to be at a huge loss. Maybe we write that in there. Let's look it up. Tim Cook coding second language. He said it's more important than English. Well, that might be a little far. Is more important than English as a second language. Okay, yeah, well, as a second language. Why is English not the first language? I guess he's talking to other countries. English may be global, but it's more important to learn how to code. If I were a French student and I were 10 years old, I think it would be more important for me to learn coding than English, he told a French news outlet. I think I disagree. I think it should be a third language in that scenario. But anyway, I like where he's going with it, and I want to use this concept, I think. More than 1/3 of high-paying jobs require some computer programming skills. Interesting literacy facts. Yeah, when you read up on literacy facts, you'll just be amazed at how few people know how to read. You know, financial literacy is really low. Global literacy. Not sure if I got inspired by anything for this. Global literacy. Good enough for me. Okay, STEAM education. So, I know what I wrote here has nothing to do with what I researched. But at the same time, that's how copy works. I mean, I went out and researched all that and was getting inspired, and I don't know, that's what it told me to write. So STEAM education, that's science, tech, engineer, art, math, something like that. So STEAM education. And this whole page is supposed to be talking about the future. So IBM wrote a quote about jobs of the future. IBM quote, jobs future. I think it was IBM. I might have to get rid of the IBM part. The future of work. So that's the cool thing about when you're a copywriter, you can learn more and you can put down copy that you never even knew, and it makes you look awesome because you're going to be quoting like the CEO of IBM or yeah, I really respect HR chiefs as much as I do CEOs because the HR chiefs are the ones that work with the humans all the time. Consumer grade experience. I might talk about aerospace. I'm laughing because nothing I researched talked about aerospace, but I've studied this sector a long time. So STEAM education. Okay, we prep students to enter. So I might have written too many words here. See how it went? I guess it's right on top of that one, so I think we're good. Let's save it and let's go look. Where are we? Back over here. Yeah, I added one extra line, which then drove this down an extra line, threw it off. So I have an idea for that. Just how to stay relevant in a world powered by technology. That's good enough. Okay, so it lost a line, made that lost a line, now it's a lot more even. Okay, so we're gonna do one more, then we'll take a break. Tech focused families. So I've used that we teach, we prep, we boom. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not. Because we also have down here, we advance, we have. So we might need to change that in the future. That's might be too much we. Too much we. So tech focused families. I want to talk about how families can use technology for their benefit without it being toxic. So benefit and toxic maybe might be in there. Tech-focused families. I think the word like inspire, but I don't like we inspire families. We create, and don't take forever writing that, because after you write everything, you can come back to that one adjective, verb, noun, whatever you're working on, and you can replace it then. So I'm going to use inspire for now. I really don't like it. I'm not looking for the word inspire, but it's going. We inspire. Look at that. I already got what I as it's thinking here, I'm gonna just think out loud. We build, we design. We design communities with a focus on nuclear families that utilize advanced resource planning and innovation. Sure, it's good enough for now. Okay, so don't know how long we were on the video. I'm done for now. That's all we wrote, just this one little section here. But we also went over a lot of the other tools. We did a little bit of research. We used OneNote. The OneNote here is going to reflect the same as in my OneNote app here. And the next thing that I would recommend you do, if you want to be super awesome, is to track what you did in a task management system. So over here we have fruit tasks, and I'm going to go to my tasks, and I don't have one in here that, wait, limit, nope. I don't have any one in here that talks about what I should be doing. So let's go to fruit tasks. And here's our copywriting area. This is called MS Planner, by the way. Trello is kind of the same, but I like this way better. It's enterprise level. So I'm going to go into copywriting, and there is not one in here for me on Dow Learning. Nobody else has one in Dow Learning. I do see this though. Dow Learning UX Research for grant. Nope, that's not me either. Initial copy is needed for the following pages to be stored in OneNote. Ooh, look at that. Okay. So we've updated the site a lot since then. So I'm not going to use that one at all. I'm going to make my own. So go to copywriting. Task is Dow Learning Future. Copy. Assign it to Sean, who I'm acting as right now. And let's set a due for Monday. Add that task, go into it. And I did start it already, so I'm going to say it's in progress. And it's on MVP 2. I think I told you guys before it's MVP 1. In our company, how we determine MVP 1, when it's blank and there's nothing here at all, that's MVP 1. And we actually have people come in and just fill it in with filler stuff. And that's actually the first step. So they can check off MVP 1 saying, boom, I got the filler text in, MVP 1's done. Okay, so for MVP 2, we put the actual text in, and then I'm wondering how this looks. I don't like it actually. I think it's going to be too much clutter having all these little teeny tiny tasks in here with this kind of junk. So well, we'll complete it. Delete it. I'm going to go back over to this task that says the initial copy to be stored in OneNote. And then in the checklist, I'm going to add that page in here in the checklist. I'm going to hit tab here, or maybe I need to hit enter. Okay, well, so what's that page called I'm working on? It's about/feature. So I want to copy that, go back to here. Okay, so learning about/feature. And then I'm going to hit the check box saying that I did that one. And then I'm going to add my own name up here to the list. I want to get rid of these people. They're not helping me on this. Screw them. It's only me on here. So if you guys did want to learn more copywriting, these are the kind of pages that I'm putting together, and you could get involved on the Ignite Curiosity program, pass the test there, hop on to Microsoft Teams, and then I would allow you to get involved on this and walk you through how to do this. And that then gets you prepped to do copywriting for very big companies. If you can properly use task management systems like this, if you can come in and add your name and add comments saying what you did, and then the attachments that you do on there. So let's add an attachment. Let's add a SharePoint, because I want to take people to the right area of this. I guess it's not SharePoint. We're taking them to the OneNote notebook. So let's go into OneNote, and I have this page. I'm going to right click on it, copy link to the page, and I add an attachment, a link, and then I paste that sucker in. And then I save it. What that does is you want to get everything out of your head as possible. If it's in your head, then you're not doing business. You're doing a hobby. If you put it up here on the site though, and I'm not just talking about my site, if you put things in the cloud and you share it with a team, that's how you can work on a large team, use Hive mentality, be at an enterprise level. So now I have my notes in here, I have the one page, I checked it off saying that I did it, And these aren't accurate. The next time I come in, I'll update those links to the right ones, and then I'll check them off as I go. So there, you don't have to click save on here. You just type in it, it saves it automatically. So I'm going to close that out. And I'm going to move this. I'm just going to drag it from ideation. I'm pretty sure I can drag it over here to copywriting. Did that not work? Come on, buddy. Go to copywriting. Well, have to do it this way. Okay, so now he's in there. So now I know what my tasks are. I can go back to my tasks, and there was some stuff that I did the other day, and I want to just clean that up before I finish my day. So this is a huge part in copywriting. I know I said we were kind of done, but let's go look at these tasks to see how far I got on them. So let's go look at that website. Because bad me, I didn't come back and actually check off my tasks. Okay, so let's close out that page. Close out that page. Okay, so let's see what's on here. Let's just open them up and see all of them. So ethic and integrity, shaping the future, and the about page. Okay, so let's start on the about page. See if I fixed up that bottom part or not yet. It's all looking good. That part's not good. No. Okay, so I can't get my checkbox. Gotta fix that. Okay, ethics and integrity. I'm pretty sure I did that one. So where's that one? Ethics and integrity. Yeah, that one's good. And then shaping the future. Yeah, I'm a copywriting king. I do this all day, every day. Content is so king. If you guys want to get somewhere with your career, content is the way to do it. Just content, content, content. Okay, so I'm still missing that about page. I want to change the due date. Look, it was on 8:30. Slacking, huh? Okay, let's set it for Tuesday. I just have that one little paragraph to do. And then that page should be done. So if you don't do this and you don't set tasks like this, then how are you going to know when you're running 80 sites? You got 80 customers. How are you going to know what you missed, what you haven't done? It's very hard to keep track unless you do that. Okay, then the news photos. What's the news photos? Is this over here? I don't think I fixed those. Those look good. Those don't though. Those are all fake. Yep, still got to fix those up. So can't click off that one either. We can go in there and I'll extend my due date. I'll get to that one by Friday of next week. It's not that hard. It's just I got some other stuff on my plate. Okay, so I hope you guys learned some stuff today. Maybe in the future I'll be able to answer questions while I'm teaching. This takes up my whole screen and I have my screen recording on a different system, so I gotta scroll over there to see what people say and see questions that way. But if you do get on the Ignite Curiosity platform, you can collaborate with me that way, and I'm more than happy to help anybody that wants to get into this field to ask questions, even if you've already been in the field for a long time. There's a lot of great enterprise level tools that I use, and then if you also go on the Ignite Curiosity and start getting involved, you'll get full access to this SharePoint area where you can watch all my videos for free. So what I do for my clients is for profit, but then I share what I do with my clients and I give it back to the nonprofit as an educational tool. So all of it's completely free. Welcome to learn from me anytime, and hope you guys enjoy, and I will catch you next time.